The story of King Harris just took a turn that no one anticipated, so hold on tight. Everything we believe to be true is being rewritten by a controversy involving the same king who was assaulted in jail and taken to the intensive care unit. How can King be seen handling guns from his bed in hospital footage? Is this authentic? Is he being set up in a larger plot, or what? There are countless questions. Why and by whom was he attacked in prison? Was it arbitrary? Or was King specifically targeted? And the stakes have increased dramatically once this new footage went public. According to sources, this goes beyond simple survival. It's about retaliation, power, and a family business that is in danger. Fans are stunned. Media outlets are rushing, and T.I. and Tiny are enmeshed in a whirlpool of misunderstanding and popular indignation. Can we learn more about the Harris family from this footage? Or is it only the beginning of something bigger and riskier? Stay tuned, because the information we're about to reveal could completely alter your perception of King Harris and the Harris legacy. Hip-hop mogul T.I.'s son, King Harris, had previously lived a life that was scrutinized. However, nothing could have forewarned the people of what would follow. Following the world held its breath as King was taken to the intensive care unit following a terrible jail attack that left him seriously injured. Every update had media outlets, family members, and fans riveted. However, no one anticipated that the story would take a stunning turn that would completely rewrite the plot. A leaked film that would completely upend the Harris family's legacy appeared online within days. King Harris was there, handling guns on his hospital bed. Indeed, firearms. The footage was uncut, raw, and electrifying while he was still recuperating from his injuries. As though the hospital, a location intended for safety and healing, has been turned into a scene of mayhem. In an instant, the questions exploded. King's weaponry in the intensive care unit, why? Was he preparing a retaliation? Or was he being framed by this fabricated footage? The scenario swiftly turned into a full-fledged media circus. Reactions on social media sites ranged from outrage to incredulity. Videos of King handling firearms became viral on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Overnight, memes with captions like "I see you" appeared that compared the hospital scenario to action movie stunts. More akin to Armory King Harris and "I see you" to Arsenal number 101. The video became viral right away, and it was hard to scroll by without pausing to watch. T.I. and Tiny, meanwhile, were confused and in a panic. According to insiders, T.I. had mobilized his whole public relations staff, trying to control the story while also figuring out how his kid, who was purportedly recuperating, could have been involved in something so risky. However, Tiny concentrated on King's emotional and physical well-being, finding it difficult to balance her maternal feelings with the shock of witnessing her son's behavior on a global scale. The scenario was described as stressful, emotional, and chaotic by family sources. The implications of the footage were immediate, as staff members were continuously juggling media queries, hospital meetings, and private conversations about possible legal repercussions. In addition to challenging how the general public views King Harris, it also questioned T.I.'s shortcomings as a father and a public figure. How could someone so famous and closely watched permit, even in a medical facility, for his son to possess weapons? The critics were harsh. Bloggers and analysts conjectured that King's acts were proof of a history of carelessness, a breakdown in parental supervision, or perhaps a publicity stunt to divert attention from earlier scandals. According to some, the incident may have been planned by unidentified individuals with the intention of damaging the Harris family, or that it was a reflection of more serious conflicts inside King's inner circle. According to reports, hospital employees were astounded by King's conduct, characterizing the scenario as strange and disturbing. An unnamed nurse was cited as remarking, "This was very different from the patients I've seen with wild streaks. Guns in the intensive care unit are something you see in movies, not in real life." The hospital, which is required by law to guarantee patient safety, allegedly started an internal investigation following the release of the video. The timing of the video leak itself sparked suspicions, and security procedures were called into doubt. Why now? And how did the video get out of such a safe place? As analysts started to make connections, the public's response grew more intense. Between the current occurrence and King's previous issues, supporters recalled his controversial social media posts, his brief run-ins with the law, and the conflict in the Harris home, all of which pointed to a pattern of careless decisions. However, a lot of people felt sorry for him, pointing out that King had been dealing with the demands of family, attention, and celebrity all the time. The conflict between pity and condemnation sparked a tumultuous social media storm that made the video more widely shared and solidified the episode as one of the most talked about celebrity tales in recent history. Conspiracy theories began to circulate in the interim. Is it possible that this video was altered to frame King? Was the Harris family the target of a larger plot? Be connected to earlier events concerning T.I.'s commercial activities or competitors in the entertainment sector. Every frame was analyzed by fans, analyzing King's motions, the environment, and even the kind of gun displayed by slowing down footage. There were several theories. While some felt this was a calculated release to influence public opinion, others asserted King was protecting himself from an unknown danger. As the video kept making the rounds, legal professionals provided their opinions. According to some, possessing firearms in a medical facility could be a serious infraction that leads to criminal charges or a re-examination of the Harris family's larger transactions. The involvement of law enforcement, possible federal attention, and the potential effects on T.I.'s reputation and career were all topics of conjecture in the media. Both traditional media and makers of viral content found the subject appealing due to its combination of celebrity, danger, and conspiracy. Harris, King. Although he was mostly mute in public, the scene is established by insiders, guns, theories, family, a leaked video, and King Harris in the intensive care unit. Tension, popular indignation, and media mania. Everything is set up for what could turn out to be one of the most explosive celebrity scandals in recent memory. Nobody knows what will happen next, and the entire world is watching. This isn't merely a hospital occurrence, that much is clear. It's a full-fledged cultural event that combines mystery, danger, and celebrity into a narrative that has drawn interest from all around the world. As soon as the hospital video breach appeared online, the globe went into overdrive. King Harris's handling of firearms from his hospital bed was the subject of incessant analysis by fans, critics, and media sources. Just the viral video became into a cultural phenomenon, taking over trending pages and igniting discussions on everything from criminal intent to familial loyalty. The background of the video, however, was what truly shocked the viewers. This occurrence was no longer limited to the hospital. Everyone was curious about who was responsible and why, as it appeared to be a possibly planned operation. Social media was instantly inundated by anonymous insiders with private data. According to others who claimed to be close to the Harris family, King did not act rashly. King understood exactly what he was doing, according to one insider. This is strategy, not a child acting out. He's sending a message, and there are more powerful actors at play. The implication was obvious. Someone had planned the jail attack, and King's actions at the hospital served as a warning or a retaliation. Public interest only increased once rumors circulated that the ICU's CCTV cameras were inexplicably unavailable throughout the recording of the video. How does a hospital that follows normal surveillance procedures end up without any video during a crucial incident involving a well-known patient? Theorists of conspiracy were eager to comment. This is not an accident. Someone tries to conceal the larger picture while making King Harris appear guilty. Twitter timelines, YouTube comment sections, and Reddit threads were ablaze with conjecture, speculations, and contentious discussions. Influencers and celebrities also couldn't help but weigh in. Several public personalities posted, "Sometimes the hospital isn't safe. Sometimes the bed isn't just a bed," among other enigmatic remarks. The video might be a staged leak intended to frame King or shield him. Some fans suggested a long-standing rivalry between King Harris's hospital antics and earlier disputes between the Harris family, or personal grudges that went beyond the general public. Behind the scenes, T.I. and Tiny were frantically working. According to family-friendly sources, T.I. was constantly meeting with attorneys, private investigators, and security guards in an effort to control the story and the ramifications. Tiny was centered on King's mental and physical wellness right away, attempting to strike a balance between her son's needs and the barrage of media attention. They were dealing with two crises at once. King was in danger physically, and the family empire's prestige suffered. Analysts and financial specialists began to comment as well, making predictions about what would happen as a result of King's actions. Does the video affect T.I.'s economic endeavors? What would brand partners and investors think of this well-reported scandal? While some speculated about possible legal scrutiny coming from the hospital tape itself, others suggested that sponsors might remove themselves from the family until the controversy cooled. Naturally, social media was unrelenting. Within hours, videos, memes, and compilations of reactions became viral. King Harris's medical activities were contrasted in the clips with amusing presents, action movie stunts, and even cartoon parodies. King Harris's transformation of the intensive care unit into a fortified Knox in a hospital gown. 2025 is crazy. At the same time, fans were appalled, captivated, and amused. Shock, laughter, and disbelief combined to create the ideal environment for virality, guaranteeing that the video would be trending for days. However, the video itself wasn't the only thing leaked. According to reports, King received the firearms from acquaintances, which raised the potential that rival groups within the criminal underworld may have planned the assault in the jail. According to one leaked document, King Harris and unidentified people may have communicated, and the hospital event can be a component of a more extensive power struggle. Even though the specifics were still unclear and unproven, the uncertainty simply served to fuel speculation, with analysts discussing whether King was a mastermind, a victim, or both. Traditional media started to cover the subject as public curiosity soared. Following unexpected revelations, news outlets carried headlines such as King Harris ICU gun footage sparks massive controversy and Harris family in crisis. The story was taken up by talk programs, podcasts, and internet news outlets, which broke down the video frame by frame. Analysts questioned the security protocols of the hospital, the family's oversight, as well as the potential effects on T.I.'s empire. Social media was no longer the exclusive platform for the story. It had become widely discussed and attracted interest from many facets of the entertainment sector. Legal professionals were also quick to comment, voicing concerns around the carrying of firearms in a medical center. Lawyers conjectured that even the appearance of impropriety could lead to investigations, even though the veracity of the footage was still up for question. Law enforcement, according to some, could launch investigations into the origin of the firearms, the hospital's security shortcomings, and King's and those responsible for planning the jail attacks' possible criminal culpability. Fans, however, kept dissecting every aspect of the video. Commenters conjectured about King's objectives, who might have been responsible for the leak, and why he was armed. Some perceived it as a show of strength, asserting that King was assuming command of his story. Others viewed it as careless conduct that put the Harris family brand as a whole in jeopardy in addition to himself. The story's virality was further fueled by the innumerable debates, threads, and reaction videos that resulted from the difference in public opinion. Additionally, insiders hinted that King's actions in the intensive care unit were only the start of a bigger surprise. An unnamed source alluded to additional video and documents that might potentially reveal more. Harris family members, deepening the controversy. The plot was made more interesting by the potential for betrayals, covert conversations, and hidden objectives. The audience was left in suspense, waiting for the next shocking revelation. This story was a perfect storm because it combined real-life risk, celebrity intrigue, and viral social media attention. The ICU footage of King Harris wasn't only startling, it sparked conjecture regarding criminal networks, family issues, and possible plots. The fire was fueled by every fresh detail that was made public by the media, social media detectives, or insiders. The story had evolved beyond a hospital event by the end of the week. It was a cult, a viral phenomenon. It became impossible to overlook the repercussions of King Harris's hospital film as the days went by. What had begun as a startlingly fast spiral turned into a full-blown family crisis that endangered the Harris empire as a whole in addition to King's life. Every update had fans, media, and even industry insiders riveted, wondering who planned the incarceration, attack, King's use of firearms in the intensive care unit, and Tiny and T.I.'s future plans. Every fresh report made the story even more combustible, and the stress was evident. T.I., who had long been regarded as an expert at manipulating his image, was suddenly in a new situation. Reports stated that he was planning with attorneys, private security, and public relations specialists while also suppressing his tears behind closed doors. Every statement, every phone call, and every social media post the call was examined. Tiny had her own problem too. She desired to keep King safe, while preserving the family's reputation. The pressure cooker of personal safety, scandal, and celebrity had boiled over. Legal professionals chimed in right away. serious concerns regarding the possession of firearms, possible dangers to hospital employees, and infractions of federal legislation. Even if this was a defensive move, one lawyer conjectured, the visuals are disastrous. Anyone implicated, including King and those who supplied the weapons to the jail employees who were unable to stop the initial attack, could be the subject of an investigation by the authorities. According to another analyst, T.I.'s businesses and brand may have to deal with scrutiny from partners and sponsors, with possible losses up to millions of dollars. The public hysteria, however, persisted. Social media feeds were dominated by memes, opinion videos, and trending hashtags including #KingGoo, #HarrisScandal, and #HOSGuns. Fans engaged in an unending argument. Was King a careless person endangering everyone, or a victim defending himself? Could competitors looking to destroy the Harris enterprise have planned this leak? The gap in public opinion fueled the flames, making the tale more widely shared. Sources within suggested that the leak wasn't an accident. Some speculated that the video may have been purposefully published by competing groups inside the music industry, or perhaps by people who harbored resentment toward T.I. One unnamed insider asserted that this is not checkers but chess. Every action is planned. The video is not just shocking, but also calculated. A message is being sent to the Harris family as a whole. The consequences went beyond the internet. According to reports, hospital officials opened a thorough internal inquiry to find out how King obtained weaponry. CCTV footage was examined, security procedures were examined, and employees were questioned. Law enforcement even alluded to possible participation, despite the fact that no formal charges had yet been brought. Rumors of criminal responsibility, conspiracy, and carelessness dominated news reports. The family was under a great deal of stress, as if that weren't enough. T.I., according to reports, Tiny and King were working non-stop to keep an eye on King's health, answer questions from the media, and deal with growing public attention. Tiny apparently leaned on emotional support as a result of the stress, which led to difficulties between them. And T.I. concentrated on legal strategy and brand protection. Family relationships that had previously been meticulously cultivated for public consumption were disintegrating in front of everyone. Financial ramifications also started to emerge. Concerned that the controversy would damage their reputation, sponsors and partners who had previously been connected with T.I.'s brand were now re-evaluating their agreements. According to reports, sponsorship efforts, impending movie ventures, and music promotions were put on hold, potentially costing millions of dollars. Analysts indicated that in order for the Harris family to heal from the trauma, they might require crisis management specialists for months or even years. Celebrity responses and public demonstrations exacerbated the problem. While some called for accountability for the hospital footage, others demanded answers about the jail event. Campaigns and petitions on social media went viral, raising concerns about how prominent individuals might permit such careless conduct to continue unchallenged. The amalgamation of judicial examination, financial. This was one of the most complicated celebrity crises in history because of the impact and public outcry. Fresh recollection. But what was unnerving most was the constant uncertainty. According to sources, King Harris was stable but very ill, and he stayed in the intensive care unit. There were more leaks, rumors, and conjecture every day. Global fans were following updates in the hopes of a speedy recovery while also becoming entangled in a more complex scheme. About the assault, new questions seemed to arise with every disclosure. Was King being prepared for something more significant? Would T.I. and Tiny manage to withstand the harm done to their family's legacy and reputation? The Harris family conflict had turned into a complex scandal that combined public safety, legal ramifications, and fury, as well as financial danger. King was changed by the hospital tape that was leaked. Harris transformed from a victim into a major player in a media frenzy, while also posing a threat to stability, empire, and reputation of one of the most powerful families in hip-hop. Fans, insiders, and analysts were all left wondering about every aspect of the weapon's place of origin, the reasons for the leak, and even the Harris empire's long-term effects. With this sets the groundwork for unheard of consequences. Out.